Now, she and her husband, Emilio Estefan, they're the team behind more than 3 decades of hit music. Their success opened the door for crossover Latin stars like Ricky Martin, Jennifer Lopez, and Shakira. So now she's doing the standards, huh? It's Gloria Estefan's 27th solo album and the 31st of her career. Gloria and Emilio join us at the table. Emilio, you couldn't even help yourself. The music is on and you're already banging on the table. Of course.
I mean, that's what I love. I love percussion. I think, you know, it's so good to have them and brought so many different rhythms to the stage.
Yes.
35 years ago, there was almost impossible people to play that on radio. So nowadays we see a whole different sound and we're so excited about that.
And a lot of hair in that video.
Yeah. and talk about a different sound. I flew to California recently. I listened to it up and I listened to it back.
Thank you.
And your voice is so perfect for this type of music. But you say it's a full circle moment for you. How?
It is. It's full circle. I mean, a lot of people might think it's something that deviates from what I do, but not really, because my ballads actually came to being because these standards and songs like this, not only from Cuba, but from Nat King Cole, Johnny Mathis, Sinatra. I used to watch Dean Martin and Andy Williams' show. As a little girl being a musician, I was watching because I loved the music. It was rich. And that's the first stuff I sang for my parents on my guitar. Moon River, Smile, Wonderful World. It's really my heart, this genre. It truly is.
You say this has been on the back burner for a long time.
It has. In fact, when we first played Conga on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, they asked us to do a second song. They didn't want it to be original because we were so new. They go, we don't want 2 new songs, so do you know something that people would know? I go, well, I'd love to do Good Morning Heartache. And I sang it with my piano player. That night, I wanted people to know that I did ballads and that we were musicians, that we loved, you know, the real stuff, and it was great. So I sat again at the piano with Shelley Berg, who played piano and conducted and directed and arranged the whole record. He's the dean of the Frost School of Music, UM, my alma mater. And he asked me to sit in at a trustee dinner. He goes, Gloria, let's do something for the people here. I go, what about Good Morning Heartache? Do you know that one? And he transported me, and I got the idea right there. It unfolded the whole idea for this record.
How do the two of you work together?
Well, you know, we've been together so many years.
35?
35 years.
Married, but longer than that.
Together.
But you know, it's about respect. You know, respect and making she makes the whole decision in her career. I make my own decision. Of course, we talk to each other. But I think, you know, it's a communication and respect and love. And I think it's very difficult to work with your wife. Especially when you have to be, well, you know, 35 years. But, you know, we love each other. It's true.
You've been tortured for 35 years.
Listen, you've been dating Gloria since you were like 17.
He was my first and only.
The only man the only man she's ever been with. The first time I heard that, I went, really?
Listen, I told Oprah that, listen, she said that I'm so good. You never tried anybody else. I mean, you don't know.
I know.
You never want to try anybody. But at one point, how do you lose a husband part?
It always gets to sex, doesn't it?
How do you navigate the manager part and the husband part? Because sometimes those overlap, and they're not always in sync.
It took a while, and you're right. It's not always in sync because he's got a very commercial mind. He's got an ear for what people are going to love, and what, you know, he works very much along those lines. And especially at the beginning when they would offer me all this money, like to do an endorsement for a product, and I didn't particularly like the product, I'd say to him, I'm not going to do this. He goes, I'll eat the can for a quarter of the money they're giving me.
I say, only for 10% I can play the accordion. You give me just 10%. And you use the Estefans.
And now the Estefans are grandparents, too.
Yes, what a blessing.
Yes, how cool
Baby
is that?
Sasha, our son Najib, had a baby. He's 14 months old. And he's the light of our lives, really. They moved back to Miami, thank God, because he lived 3,000 miles away in L.A. for a long time. But now they're back.
What's happening? Go ahead.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
My daughter's leaving.
What's happening in music in Cuba? Any sense of what's going on there?
Well, you know, there's a lot of great music coming for years and years. A lot of great music. The thing is that sometimes when you live in a communist country, you cannot sing, you cannot write whatever you really want. Because you can say something, like when Gloria sang the Oye Mi Canto, it's about very much,
freedom of expression. Yeah. There's a lot of rappers that are really breaking ground there, and they're kind of bucking the system, and they're getting a lot of, following from Cubans. But if you really don't toe the political line there, you have no chance of getting played on public, which they own all the stations. So it's tough, and it was shut down for a long time. Even when they did Buena Vista Social Club, that album that was huge, these guys were unknown in Cuba, and they were really the glories of the old Cuban music, and nobody knew about them back then. So it's tough.
Great to have you guys here.
Still making it happen after all these years.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
Congratulations to you guys.
Thank you for listening to the whole album.
I did.
Great.
I did.
And
a few times.
The Standards goes on sale today.